So yeah, I thought I'd just like introduce it as my channel first,
Right.
and then sort of say
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you've
yeah,
asked me
sure,
to-
sure, sure. Sure. I'll put this just in case we need some affare.
I'll flip that around, so we know it's still recording.
Yeah?
The battery might die. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hi guys. I am here with Carolina in my old warehouse, old studio. It's kind of like I guess, an impromptu thing in some respects, but actually I've brought my camera along. But this is kind of more Carolina's idea. She's kind of asked me down to just have a discussion because I'm leaving London, and I guess like just see, I guess, you know, just kind of, I guess, give my experiences of me as an artist in London. So I thought it would be good to record it for Culture Rift as well, just to kind of make some documentation of what has happened. So yeah, there we go. Let's do that.
So whoever will be watching it, hello. Yeah, so I invited you, Blair, to come here. You are leaving in 2 weeks' time, and obviously it's quite sad for me to know that, but from the other hand, I'm really happy that you are going and explore another part of the world, and I can at the very beginning of our chat tell you or wish you good luck. But Blair, 2009,
Yes.
I moved into this unit, to this warehouse. It was completely different, quite empty, and you were here already. And that summer we had a painting jam session. I think we did 2 or 3 of them, but that is a painting that we did together. Do you remember it?
I do kind of remember it. Now that, like, in my head, I didn't, when you sort of said that you had it, I couldn't remember what it looked like. But now I've seen it, yeah, definitely. I definitely remember, even like the textures and stuff on it. Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's been a long time. Like, that was, what, 2009, it's now 2022.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's like 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember definitely what you have done here.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
that.
quite
I'm pretty
liked
sure I
it.
did this stuff.
Yeah. And this curly thing.
Oh, was that me?
Yeah. I really love it. I thought that this is really a great piece, and I want to keep it. We'll see what is the future of this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was your first place in London.
I mean, I had like a kind of, when I first came to London, so that was like December, I guess, 2008, after traveling from New Zealand around the world, blah, 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 for about a year. But then, yeah, this is kind of my first like place that I could call, I guess, mine, yeah, I'd say so. Like when I first came here, I kind of stayed with family and friends and for a few months, and then finally got here to a place I could call my own.
Yeah, and I think this place, not that I think, this place was still under construction.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I do remember, like, I think like the first, I was really excited that there was a bath here, because I hadn't had a bath for a long time. We had showers, but hadn't had the bath. But actually I remember first time using it, it was still, like the sealant was still wet. So I remember Dan saying, oh, just be careful, don't get water on the sealant, because it's still drying. Okay. That's good.
That was quite a long time ago, and then you moved out, I think, sort of January 2010. You moved out to Fountayne Road.
Yeah, like officially I took on the lease on Fountayne Road, like I think New Year's Eve, so December 31st of 2009. So, but then didn't actually move in, probably for 2 weeks later or something.
Yeah. Blair, you did quite a lot of things. especially there, trying to gather some ideas for Haringey Arts.
Yeah.
And Haringey Arts started here this open warehouse day. Then we did it once, and you continue in Fountayne Road, and
Sure.
you did few other things as well, as far as.
Yeah, so just as a kind of like an intro to what I guess Haringey Arts was,
Yeah.
it was actually started by Dan Hernandez. We kind of took it over from him. It was like, so I guess it was something that kind of helped promote and bring together and champion creativity within the Haringey warehouse district or warehouses communities.
Yeah.
That's how
we started to run it slightly in a slightly different way than him, but this organization lasts until 2008. It changed a little bit.
2008?
It's
18. 18.
Sorry. Yeah, 2008. We haven't been here. Time flies. 2018, and then we closed it down. But we thought that with having this organization, we can do something for this artists, warehouse, creative people, and it was lots of things happen under this umbrella.
Yeah, I mean, so what, like from being here and knowing what Haringey Arts was, and then going to Fountayne Road, and then seeing all the great stuff that was going on there, for me I was trying to kind of bring it all together, I guess, bring Fountayne and Manor House together to kind of create these creative things. We were already kind of doing a lot, whether as individuals or whether as separate communities. But yeah, I thought it was a good way to kind of try and make some ties that kind of connect us both, and use that as some sort of tool or some sort of thing to then bring funding in to help more creativity and more, to help people do, I guess, to help people do what they do.
Was it successful for you now when you are looking back? My next question would be, are you feel that you have achieved what you wanted as an artist? Because what you asked
as an artist, or within like Haringey Arts, or warehouses? Multiple kinds.
So the thing that you have done, open warehouse day, it was more you as an organizer, as a project manager, and and I think this was quite successful.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it did come, like, the idea of open warehouse day kind of came out of a Haringey Arts group meeting thing that we had here, actually, in this, I think, just over there, back in the day. And yeah, from that we both decided, or I guess Manor House or Overbury Road and Fountayne Road decided that that'd be their own open warehouse days on kind of separate weekends. We then went away, did that, and it was really big success. From I think you did one, and then we continued. I think I've done maybe 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure over the years. Kind of pulled back from doing it now just because it became too stressful.
This noise actually a rubbish collection.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we do have a rubbish. This is it's a working studio and on a kind of busy back street. So we do have a bit of noise competition going on, but not at all, I don't think. We could wait. Do you want to wait for it to go?
No, that's fine. They will go in a second.
Yeah.
And how about you as an artist? Remind me, at some point you also did masters in Chelsea College.
Yeah, so I did a master's. So I've in New Zealand I've got a certificate and a Bachelor of Visual Arts. from Auckland, New Zealand University. But then in 2017-18, did a master's here at Chelsea in fine art. Yes.
Blair, how were you during lockdown era, during COVID era? How this entire COVID-19 influenced you as an artist, I believe?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely influenced me a lot. Because I kind of, so in February 2020, that's before, right? Yeah. That's before the big thing.
Yeah.
I went to New Zealand for a holiday, actually, for a month. Kind of, hearing that these things were happening, the COVID thing was happening, and not.
By the way, you are from New Zealand.
I am from New Zealand.
Yeah, yes. So it was holiday, but also you went to see your family.
Yeah. Kind of tied it in with the Auckland Art Festivals, to try and see the end of that, rather than, I usually go at Christmas actually, but I decided to kind of tie it in with what was going on there, just to see kind of what New Zealand is doing at the moment, I guess, as to in terms of the arts. But then the COVID thing happened, and actually half of that arts festival got shut down, so I couldn't go to most of it anyway. But then as an artist, as a person, or as anything, everything here in London, kind of for me shut down. Like I was building sets for theatres. Theatres got shut down. I was an exhibition coordinator for like a kind of a hire company for exhibitions. That was, all the events and exhibitions got shut down. So, and then also like some more curatorial kind of exhibitions, they were shut down. So I had no real reason to go back to London really in a hurry. So I ended up actually staying up in New Zealand for a year and a half, kind of waiting for things to normalise. And I guess, trying to see what kind of happens, or to try and reconnect with what is happening in New Zealand while we're kind of all dodging the COVID situation. Probably one of the biggest things that definitely changed my trajectory was, so I had been doing, and I still do, like on the side a little bit in terms of my art practice. I do these immersive installations, so kind of immersive installations which are interactive with sensors or projection and multimedia and all this sort of stuff. So I had managed to get together I thought quite strong proposal for the Arts Council here, and just as I put it in, so I think it takes like 4 weeks, I can't remember, to get a decision, maybe 6 weeks to get a decision.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, I'd been halfway through that period. So they say it was 6 weeks. I was 3 weeks into that period, and all of a sudden the Arts Council shut down all new grants and repurposed all that money towards people who had already kind of received grants. So that was like 6 months of preparation kind of thrown out, because so my work was to do with basically installations that are interactive with brain waves. So using an EEG brain sensor to sense what brain waves are happening in your brain, and then that gets kind of calculated into like multimedia and sound.
I remember you exhibited at one place at Brick Lane.
Yeah, that's right.
It was this.
Yeah, that was kind of the last
one day later. Anyway.
That was kind of the last.
Really.
Yeah, that was like the last kind of thing that I attempted to do in that regard. I think because from that, and then as like I was using that as a practice to kind of build this bigger installation, but also get involved, like actual professionals in like psychology and like neuroscience.
Yeah.
So I had these people that were involved that made it very time sensitive that when the Arts Council reopened their grants, new grants system, all the people that I'd already got together were kind of like, no, they're recovering from COVID, like not physically recovering, but
it's not the same situation
business,
actually.
Yeah, well, their business is recovering and stuff.
Yeah.
One was like a university in Milan. There was people from Harvard or Dublin, Oxford. I can't remember. One of those universities, but because because they were because they were like school based and everything, they couldn't really. They were all shut down. They couldn't really help me either. So even so it was very. So I lost all my kind of what I would call, I guess, partners to really create a strong proposal for the Arts Council. So 6 months work in terms of that thrown out, and there was no real way of kind of getting it back to what it was.
But when you were in New Zealand during let's call it COVID era, you started your channel.
Yeah, sure. So I think
and that was sort of a new opportunity, or it was a new opportunity.
Yeah, I'd say so. So this channel, right, which is what we're kind of recording on now, as well as everything else. It came about because I was in New Zealand. Sometimes we were having lockdowns and stuff too, and I was basically on YouTube a lot, trying to do research about some stuff, or maybe looking at traveling, or just kind of escape, I guess, the situation that was surrounding us. So looking at old travel vlog YouTuber people, and I guess that kind of stirred something up in me to then want to create my own, which is now what this is, so for me, Culture Drift kind of represents like at least two of my passions, which would be art and travel, and kind of then art, travel, and like culture. So that's kind of, I guess, the idea was to then not be dependent on any one body or anything specific, i.e. not being dependent on or not being reliant on the Arts Council, not being reliant on galleries, not being reliant on anything to be able to then, well, apart from I guess YouTube, but I think that for me is enabled or created more, or enabled me to control, I think, my practice more in some respects, although it's kind of taken dominance over my actual creating process.
Right.
I did have, like in New Zealand, I did get a studio eventually. I think after maybe 6 months of not painting, I needed to paint, or maybe even a year. So I then kind of changed from the travel side to more the art side. I then, I've gone into galleries and recorded exhibitions. And things like this, actually, what we were doing is like an intention of either where I wanted it to head, or where we'll still head, where, I still have that want and need to promote other artists, whether it's promoting my own art, but also promoting other artists and kind of art in general, and just having conversations around creativity and artistic practice as well.
Blair, you said that you want to have more control and not rely on arts council, galleries, etc. This sounds that the idea or expectations that you could receive funding, or you could establish relationship with galleries, this part is not as successful as could be. I mean,
For
this
sure.
arts council is not successful at all because you've lost. Doesn't mean that. So, if you would achieve this, do you think you would go travel and leave London behind as you are living now? I mean, you are leaving. You are selling all your paintings. You are getting rid of all your stuff.
Yeah.
If you were successful, or you reached what you hope to
Yeah,
achieve,
for sure. I mean, I know you kind of, I think press the record button, you said the breakthrough, like, I guess, yeah, trying to have a breakthrough moment, or, you know, I guess, as an emerging artist, emerge, right, I guess. And the question is, what, if that was to happen, would I stay in London? I mean, I think I would still maybe keep my studio here, if I could afford it. But obviously, if I've broken through, selling loads of paintings, and yeah, I need a place to store them while they sell, I guess. But I think during my time in New Zealand, and kind of, I guess, having time to reflect, and also being out of London, you kind of see, you know, there's more to the world than London. I think when you're in London, it's moving so fast that you're always trying to keep up with it. I think, like, also, like, the way that I would characterize London is it's a promise that's never kept. For me, it's and I find for a lot of people, they kind of see this thing that is London, that's like full of so much potential that I don't think we ever quite get to. Yeah, I think also because there is so much else going on, that there's a lot of noise to kind of either drown us out or to keep us kind of distracted from our paths as well. And I guess I think I knew that even before leaving for New Zealand, before COVID. I think trying to do my masters, that was kind of a thing to try and rekindle, or try and really push something, get to the next level, you know, where I feel like my practice got to the next level, but then nothing happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually, COVID opened the new idea, but in a way it was something that it was a time. I mean, COVID era, these lockdowns and this time that we had in our hands, help you to make this decision faster.
I think
this idea of traveling, this idea of leaving London behind. But
for sure.
yeah.
I mean, it's quite ironic that obviously during a time when no one could travel, that's when I was like, oh, I need to leave London, I need to travel.
Right.
Why, how that computes in my mind, I'm not sure. But I think it was the space away from London that really enabled me to have this disconnection to it, and to sort of reflect and see, there is more to the world, I guess, than London. I guess it's about going and looking for that. And that kind of did remind me of actually, so I haven't actually, maybe I've told you this, I'm not sure, but so when I was, before coming to London, so I left New Zealand, went Southeast Asia, traveled around Southeast Asia for a bit, and then had a one-way ticket from Auckland to Bangkok to London. And the Bangkok one I could move forever, basically. Could move it around as much as I wanted, which I did for a year-ish, or 10, 11 months or something. And I remember being in Vietnam in maybe November, December, and knowing that, okay, I'm going to London for Christmas because I just want to be around some family. I have an uncle here and cousins and stuff. Around some family for Christmas because that would be quite nice. But then being like, so what am I going to do in London? Having done all this travel, going to London. I was a more back in New Zealand. I was like a studio manager for a big print company. It was like desk job, quite creative in some respects, but also quite desk job. So yeah, it was actually in Vietnam. I was like, oh, I'm going to be an artist. That's and the idea there, the reasoning was, I think I was drawing, like I'm not sure, I was doing some drawing and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, I could just be an artist, of course. And the fantasy was that the fantasy was that as an artist, with my art, I can travel the world. I think that was, so the idea was get a studio in London, make loads of paintings, sell them, go to another country, another city, get a studio, make loads of paintings, sell them, and then that enables me to then continue the traveling. Right.
It reminds me a little bit of the reason why I moved here. I realized that every time I'm looking for the next place to live in London. I've been here for about 5 years. In 2009, yes, about 5 years.
15?
I arrived to London in 2014. But every time I'm looking for the news, I can't be bothered with kitchen, with bathroom, or with this. I look for the place that will allow me to paint. And in 2009, I realized that actually there's no need for me to keep it as a hobby anymore, or maybe not hobby. The fact that someone asked me at some point, so painting is your hobby. Just actually painting, it's not my hobby. It's a serious thing that I can't really live without it. So I am an artist, and came here. I was absolutely not sure about this place, and how am I live with 7, at that time there were 8 rooms, so 7 other people that I don't know in this place. I don't know anything about this area. So I thought, okay, I'm coming here for 3 months in the studio. I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I had this project, this woman I painted, and I'm leaving, and this is it. But 13 years later, I'm still here, and this is the only me from this first set of residents who is still here. So it reminds me a little bit of you coming, do painting, sell your art and go further, but now 13 years later you are still here.
Yeah, still here.
But what is optimistic from our conversation, that I said you are leaving London behind, but actually you said that this is a break.
Definitely a break.
And you will see. So there is still possibilities of hope that you will be back in London at some point. Maybe again you will do some painting, sell and go, but you will be back at some point.
I don't never know. I mean, I have a British passport. I can always come back whenever. But I definitely don't have any plans to come back. I don't think. But who knows? I might get sick of tropical beaches and sunshine and happy people.
And come rainy, cloudy, and moody London.
Yeah.
But always busy, always buzzing. and
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I
and
think.
still you have some friends here.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, if it wasn't for like whether this like Manor House warehouse community or Fountayne Road community, yeah, if it wasn't for those communities that I was very much involved with, I wouldn't have survived in London. I don't think. Like, I wouldn't have stayed in London for sure, just because. Yeah, like it's. I think with those communities and with the creativity and with kind of, you know, you feel like you're kind of in this extended family, and I would say, like, if it wasn't for that, whether, you know, for better or worse, because they do also have a tendency to distract you a lot from kind of what you want to do. Yeah, when you do live with, yeah, like you said, kind of here. I mean, I think we were, yeah, like 8, because it was 2 and
Yeah,
so
we
like
were
8 other people.
we
Yeah.
were 9 people because it was Nina and
Yeah, and you and Richie.
and Richie, and they were a couple, but
Yeah, yeah.
now there are 12.
And then so my studio now, you know, I'm in a studio, and in the building there's 27 units, and I think about 70 to 80 people. And then on the street, you know, there's probably about 500, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like, you know, creative weirdos. Yeah, all with their own things going on. But yeah, I'd say if it wasn't for that, like I would have probably left a long time ago. I would have given up on London, I think. But now, kind of having been away from that, although I have since being back, I have been here another year, it seems. I don't know how that kind of snuck up on me, but you know, since coming back from New Zealand. But I definitely need to have a break from the hustle. I think, like, having to hustle, because, you know, as an artist myself, I've had like 100 shows, and I still struggle to sell my own artwork. You know, I've also put on, like, aside from my own shows, I've also put on shows for like about 100 shows for about 1,500 or so artists. You know, and I see, you know, through them how, or, you know, even my own practice and them, just how hard it is to make a living. You know, we all have, I guess, side jobs, or, you know, full-time jobs where art then becomes a secondary, or, you know, I think London, you know, the cost of living and everything here in London is definitely affecting a lot of creative people. Where was I going? I can't remember where I was going. I kind of followed off.
Well, I think, Blair, we have covered most of this, the most important ideas. Sorry, and you are going.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
are going, and as I said at the very beginning, I can only wish you to.
Yeah.
Wish you high fly and explore as much as you can, and do. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Wherever
for sure.
you will be, you know,
Right,
this
exactly.
artistic mindset is not there. You don't need it. This all within you, and I'm sure you will.
I mean, I do
keep your
feel.
creativity.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I do feel that I, you know, still need to be creative. Like, I very much, you know, the YouTube channel has kind of taken over quite a lot in terms of my time. But I feel definitely an urge to create, which I don't think will go away. Part of why I want to, yeah, obviously, so going back to why I became an artist, yeah, I guess this is why I'm now doing this channel, is to help travel the world, you know, and I guess on the also flip side of that is the idea is to kind of travel the world, but also build an international audience of my own, so an independent, you know, through YouTube, you know, get to X amount of subscribers, and then go back to kind of doing the art, where now I have an audience of, let's say, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers like all around the world, which then I can connect back into and, you know, then start doing shows again. You know, so, oh, hey guys, I'm going to, you know, let's say I have, wherever it is, I don't know, depending on where my audiences are, I guess. But let's say New York, you know, I say, hey, subscribers, I have a show in New York, come down and say hello.
Right.
You know, I mean, I also want to build more of a community side to the vlogging as well, or to the YouTube channel, where I do meetups, particularly like, you know, so where I'm going up to London is Indonesia, and then eventually ending up in Bali, which is kind of a nomadic or a digital nomad kind of hub, I think. And there, I think trying to mix creativity and the video and community, I think is you know, a great idea. But I think the idea is that, you know, is it possible? It's quite possible. But then also having it as an international thing that focuses on YouTube, as long as YouTube doesn't crash, it can kind of be anywhere, right, in the world. Like, it doesn't need to be in London, it doesn't need to necessarily be in Bali, it can travel the world. The community itself, my art practice, and me.
So, good luck.
Yeah.
You need it.
Oh gosh, yes.
And to all subscribers, I can just say thank you. I mean, to your audience, or
Yeah, sure.
whoever will be watching it, I can say thank you and follow Culture Drift.
Cool, nice one.
And let us show where you are.
Yeah, cool.
Travel.
Well, exactly. Yeah,
Travel.
I mean, it's
So,
yeah, life's a
good luck.
journey, and yeah, I guess.
Safe journey, I can tell you. No, the safe journey is not the right word. Journey is
Safe.
from A to Z, but you will be traveling.
Safe,
I just
safe
say
sounds boring, but yeah.
travel.
Travel. Travel and creativity.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. Nice one, guys. Catch you later. Good?
What do you think?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. How long was it? 40 minutes?